Tools are definitely the most important items in Minecraft, but they're also quite complicated, and using them correctly is vital, so I'll show you everything about them in this tool guide. So there are 7 different items that I'm going to be talking about today: the shovel, the pickaxe, the flint and steel, the sword, the axe, the hoe, as well as the shears. Technically, as well as these items, things like compasses and fishing rods are counted as tools. However, for the sake of covering this all in one video, I'm going to just be talking about these items, and of course with something like the sword, it'll only be the tool use of the sword, not the combat use. And so we're going to start with the pickaxe. Now of course, to make a pickaxe as well as 2 sticks, you need 3 items of whatever type you're making it out of. So it's good to remember, for example, that 1 diamond pickaxe is the same price as 3 diamond shovels. Every single tool, including of course the pickaxe, comes in 6 varieties: wooden, stone, gold, iron, diamond, and netherite. And they more or less get better in that order. If you don't feel like crafting all of your materials into a pickaxe, well, you can get them another way. And that is by trading with the toolsmith villager. You can buy stone tools for 1 emerald. You can then buy better and better things from the toolsmith, upgrading to enchanted iron tools. And these can have basically any enchantment on them at a low level. Now what makes these the best is that once you get to a certain level, you can actually buy diamond tools from these. And then once you get to the final level, then you can buy diamond pickaxes from it. Now what enchantments can be on the pickaxe? Well, there are 5 different enchantments. They are Efficiency 5, there is also Unbreaking 3 and Mending. Now Efficiency 5 basically makes you mine faster, so for instance we can mine a lot faster here than we could without Efficiency 5. If you look there, you can see the durability on my tool, and by the way, if you want to know the durability on a tool, so you can see right now there's nothing, but if we go F3 plus H, then advanced tooltips are shown, and you can see that's the exact amount of durability that we have. Every tool made out of the same material also has the same durability. For instance, this netherite pickaxe, shovel, and axe, they all have 231 total durability. One of the big reasons why of course you want to get better and better pickaxes is because of the durability. Also, what's your favorite tool in Minecraft? Be sure to tell me in the comments below. Although pickaxes of course are the most useful tool, certain ones like the hoes or the shears can also have some great uses. But back to Unbreaking, what does that have to do with the durability? Well, a diamond pickaxe with Unbreaking 1 will last to about 3,000 uses, or approximately double what it is without Unbreaking 1. Unbreaking 1 is of course a very low level enchantment, so enchanting your diamond pickaxe once you get it, even if you only have a couple books around your enchanting table, can still be a good idea. But generally it's about twice its durability on Unbreaking 1, 3 times its durability on Unbreaking 2, and 4 times its durability on Unbreaking 3. With Unbreaking 3 lasting about an average of 6,000 times. But a good question would be, what does Mending do? Well, if we have our pickaxe equipped in either hand and we gain some XP from any method, then basically what happens is when we get that XP, it will heal our pickaxe. So this literally gives your pickaxes infinite durability, which is of course a massive deal. But now we get on to mutually exclusive enchantments. That means we can pick one or the other. We'll start with Silk Touch. And then the other one we'll look at is Fortune. So what Fortune basically does is when mining literally any ore in the game, it will give you more of that. Percentage more that it gives you does depend on what it is, but for a lot of ores, with Fortune 3, it gives you about 2.2 times more material, and this works on basically anything that has a random chance of giving you more of it. So for instance, when breaking leaves, you have a higher chance of saplings, or when breaking your crops, you'll get more of that crop. But what does Silk Touch do? Instead of breaking an item even more effectively, it preserves that item. Let's say if we break this mushroom, we'll get either nothing, or we'll get some small mushrooms from it. But if we want the mushroom blocks or the mushroom stem, we need something with Silk Touch, and it works the same with ores. Let's say you want to grab a diamond ore or an iron ore, and of course it's perfect for things like coral reefs, but a good question is, what is the specific use of the pickaxe? Of course its specialty is breaking stone type blocks, as you would assume. That would be things like stone, tuff, deep slate, andesite, diorite, granite, and other similar materials. But this does not just apply to the base stone materials in the overworld. underworld, also netherrack in the nether, as well as endstone in the end, blackstone in the nether also, and basalt. Also, something very important to note is that once you get to a certain breaking speed, you can do what's known as insta-mining, where basically no matter where you look, you can instantly mine a material. But also, it's the best tool for miscellaneous sort of blocks, so things like, let's say, the concrete here, and also things like purple blocks are the fastest with this, or even something like an enchantment table where we really couldn't tell which thing would be fastest with that normally. Basically every single player when they're first starting out the game have to make one wooden pickaxe to get their first stone to then make a furnace and other materials, but as soon as you get your stone pickaxe, that wooden pickaxe is basically useless. However, one last use you can have for it before you throw it out is to use it as furnace fuel. You see, any single wooden tool can be used as an effective furnace fuel. But now onto the axe. Axes are made with the exact same number of materials as a pickaxe, exact same recipe as the pickaxe too, just one material is moved to this side, or you can craft them on this side if you want, and if you don't want to craft it just like the pickaxe, you can actually get the axe from 2 different villagers. You can get them from the toolsmith at stone, iron, or diamond levels. For instance, right here we can buy this efficiency 3 diamond axe. The weaponsmith villager can also sell you axes, so they can sell iron axes that are unenchanted, but once they've been leveled up enough, they can also sell you enchanted diamond axes, and you can always disenchant these in the grindstone and enchant them later, because here are the enchantments that you want to have on the axe. Now the enchantments are the exact same as on the pickaxe, except for there is one big difference. Now first of all, of course, efficiency 5 makes you mine things faster, then there is unbreaking 3 which increases the durability, and there is mending which lets you repair that durability for an infinite tool, and then of course you can decide between silk touch or fortune. Now there's actually very few blocks that either of these work on with the axe, but I would say generally silk touch because then it allows you to mine the giant mushrooms with that. But now the big difference comes with the fact that you can add a PvP enchantment to here, so you can add sharpness 5, bane of arthropods 5, or smite 5. You can of course also add these at lower levels, but I'm not going to go into exactly which one of these you'd want to use in each scenario, as it doesn't affect their tool use whatsoever. But if you do want to know what the perfect enchantments are on literally every single item in the game, then I do have a guide on that, and I'll have an iCard on the screen right now, so you can learn more about your perfect tools and get yourself the best tool set there is. Because the axe is a weapon as well, it can be a perfect thing to have as one of your first tools, because it doubles with 2 uses. But what can the axe break outside of just straight up logs and log based items? Well, in the new mangrove swamp it can also break this block, which is known as the mangrove roots, and you'll notice that with efficiency 5 on a diamond axe, we can instantly mine the roots on these mangrove trees. But something you may also notice is that compared to the breaking speed of just punching with your fist, the axe also can instantly mine these vines. That's right, axes are one of the best tools to use for breaking vines. Also, axes are the most efficient tool to break pumpkins and melons, so if you ever find pumpkins or melons, you certainly want that. Also, although it's not the most efficient tool for it, you definitely can use the axe to break bamboo, and although of course there's a lot of different things you can break with the axe, another major use you can do with it is breaking mushroom blocks. You can see this is definitely the fastest way to break mushroom blocks. However, unlike the pickaxe, this axe has 3 special uses to it. The first one is stripping logs. This was added in 1.13, and if you right click on a log, you'll remove the bark from it. If we're going through a jungle, we can occasionally strip some of the logs to remind ourselves that we've been to a certain area, but there's 2 other right click uses to the axe. Well, the first one is you can right click on copper blocks to remove their oxidation. So for instance right here, we can make this go down every single level of the oxidation, from the most oxidized copper all the way to the least. The third use is if you've waxed your copper by right clicking on it with wax, then right clicking on that again with the axe will remove that wax if you want to unwax your waxed copper. So that's everything about the axe in Minecraft. On to the shovel. Shovels are certainly the cheapest tool in Minecraft. The reason why is that they only take 1 material outside of the sticks. So right here we can make a shovel with 1 material and 2 sticks. Comparing this to, let's say, the axe or the pickaxe that both use 3 pieces of material, you could technically make 3 shovels for the same price as you could make 1 pickaxe. And of course, if you do not want to craft the shovel, you can always get it from the toolsmith villager as its second to top trade tier. But now of course, let's take a look at the enchantments that are on the shovel. So So the enchantments on the shovel are the same as the other tools we've looked at. First, there's Efficiency 5, and this basically enables every single block that can be broken with the shovel to now be instantly broken. Then in Breaking 3 gives us that better durability, Mending lets this be an infinite tool by repairing its durability, and finally Fortune or Silk Touch. Well, in my opinion, there's literally only one use to a Fortune shovel, so Silk Touch is almost always the better option, as the main use of a Silk Touch shovel is getting yourself grass blocks. But I did say that there is one main use of the Fortune 3 shovel, and that is if you have a lot of villagers that will give you emeralds for flint, and you happen to like the emerald for flint trade. Well then, upon finding a gravelly biome, if you do have Efficiency 5 on your shovel, every single piece of gravel will drop flint. The shovel's use is breaking any shovelable block, and so that's things like sand, dirt, podzol, grass blocks, something like soul sand in the nether, also snow, so you can for instance see right here we're able to shovel the snow really quickly, but I would also say there's two great secret uses of the shovel. The first one is that you can extinguish a campfire by right clicking on it with a shovel. The other thing is that a lot of players think the best tool for breaking glass is the pickaxe or the axe, whereas in reality there is actually no tool to break glass. You can use the shovel just as efficiently as anything else, but there's one more main tool, and that is the hoe. To craft the hoe, you of course need 2 diamonds or whatever other material you're making it out of, and 2 sticks. You can also get unenchanted hoes from toolsmiths. Interestingly enough, you can never buy an enchanted hoe from a toolsmith. And what are the enchantments for the diamond hoe? Well, believe it or not, they're the exact same enchantments as for every single other item that is a tool. And so we're going to start off with Efficiency 5 so we can break things faster. There's also in Breaking 3, as well as Silk Touch or Fortune, and of course Mending no matter what. I would generally suggest a Silk Touch hoe, but Fortune hoes can also be good if you're doubling them up for your crops. Now the only real use of a hoe is to right click on the ground and till that dirt, right? Something really great that Mojang's done recently is given the hoe much more use, and I'm going to go over the block breaking uses that the hoe has. Well, for starters, one of the reasons why a Silk Touch hoe can be great, although Fortune is good also, is that you can break leaves instantly with an Efficiency hoe, as you can see right here. However, because you can get Fortune on this item, what's awesome about that is that then with your Fortune hoe you can quickly get rid of a massive amount of leaves and instantly harvest tons of saplings. So let's say you go to a forest and you just want a bunch of saplings from it. Simply go there with your Fortune hoe, but there's even more uses of the hoe, and they are in the nether. In fact, when Mojang decided to add all these uses to the hoe was in the nether update. And so basically, whether you have Fortune or Silk Touch, it doesn't matter. You can instantly mine the nether wart blocks, also known as the nether tree leaves, and the shroom lights with that. Absolutely, if you're doing anything in the crimson or warped forests, a hoe is a must. So if you want to steal a lot of hay bales from villagers, the hoe is the fastest tool to break the hay bales with. Also an amazing use of the hoe is it is the fastest thing to break the moss as well as the moss carpets out of. And this is sort of a cool secret use that you can often find ores underneath the deep slate or underneath the moss blocks. So if you're ever in one of these caves and you want to get some diamonds or other materials, just break them all with your hoe and you can often find things hiding beneath. But if you think that was enough uses for the hoe, well, there's one more major use that just came out in 1.19. So hoes are the tool that you need to use to efficiently break skulk blocks, as well as that the skulk sensors, catalysts, and shriekers are also all most efficiently mined with the hoe. Things like skulk veins as well are also mined with that, and these are even perfect for getting rid of shriekers, as you can more or less instantly mine them, which can make getting rid of these pesky warden makers to be fairly easy. So certainly make sure to always have a hoe with you. Now those are all the main tools, but I'm going to briefly go over 3 other items that can be used like a tool. The first one is a sword. Now the sword is mainly for PvP. It's crafted out of 2 items and 1 stick, so about the same price as a hoe, but it does have 1 less stick. And more or less its big use is breaking bamboo. The sword is a tool that no matter what material it's made out of, it'll still be able to break bamboo instantly. In terms of enchantments, there's only two that are applicable to its tool uses that you can put on the sword. The first one is Unbreaking 3 and the second one is Mending, so literally only things that increase the durability. There are a couple other uses that the sword has. It's the fastest thing to break cobwebs with if you're just trying to get string from them. Let's say you get stuck in one, you can use that sword to navigate through them much better. Also, although it's not the most efficient tool for this either, the sword does give you slight speed increases when breaking pumpkins, melons, cocoa beans, hay bales, leaves, as well as jack-o'-lanterns and vines, versus just breaking them with your fists. So if you have nothing else to use, you could certainly use the sword in that situation. But now onto the actual best tool for half these things, and that is shears. So unlike everything else, there's only one type of shears that you can make, which as you saw right there are made out of 2 iron ingots. Now believe it or not, you can actually enchant shears, and there are 3 things that you can enchant them with, and they are Efficiency 5, as well as Unbreaking 3, and Mending. Now the actual uses for shears are somewhat similar to the uses for the hoe and the sword. So basically shears are the original best tool for breaking leaves. You can notice here we're instantly mining it, but as well as that they're all breaking as leaf items, and these shears do not have silk touch on them. Shears are also the best tool to break cobwebs out of, and because the cobwebs are not instantly mined, the efficiency enchantment on the shears does technically make that be more efficient. Also, if you want, you can have the strange glow lichen block by breaking it with shears. You can also use shears to break and obtain grass and tall grass. It's really cool actually how shears enable you to get a massive amount of different items without silk touch. They would usually require it. Also, if you're doing a lot of builds with wool, Efficiency 5 shears can actually instantly mine wool, making them the only tool in the game that can mine wool faster than just breaking it with your fist. Also, the shears enable you to break nether plants and get them every time, whereas normally with this kind of thing it's a chance whether you'd have it or not. Seagrass and tall seagrass that it can instantly mine and also give you the silk touch versions of, as well as a couple other more minor things. It can also instantly break and then give you the dead bush. So if you want to collect a bunch of dead bushes from maybe a mesa biome or a desert biome, you can do that with a pair of shears. Although tripwires are one of the least used items in the entire game, if you are in a situation where you need to deactivate them, the shears are the best tool to break the tripwires. And on to the final tool, flint and steel. So believe it or not, flint and steel is crafted with, well, flint and steel. Not exactly steel of course, but an iron ingot. And this flint and steel item basically has the ability to light things on fire. Now there's actually 2 enchantments that you can put on flint and steel if you want. There is Unbreaking 3 as well as Mending. Now its uses more or less are of lighting nether portals, as well as that you can relight campfires with flint and steel just like I'm doing here. And you can also set things on fire by lighting on fire something that can burn. So basically anything that would burn in real life can also burn in Minecraft, so maybe forest. Also if you're feeling destructive, you can right click on TNT to light a TNT before it explodes. But something interesting that some people do not know is if you're crouching while right clicking on that TNT, you can actually have a lit TNT that does not go off. In fact, all you're doing is simply putting fire on there. Now you'll notice the TNT is now gone off, and that's because the fire spread to it, but initially that can just sit on top of there until the fire does eventually spread, giving you a bit more of a timed TNT reaction as you can see. But there's a couple other interesting uses to the flint and steel also. The first one is the fact that you can force a creeper to detonate by right clicking on it with the flint and steel, but as well as that you can actually light candles and cakes with this, but as well as that you can make candle cakes like this, sort of like a birthday cake really, and then we can right click on the top of them to light those as well if you want. Anyway, that's everything you need to know about all the tools in Minecraft. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a good day. Goodbye!